your seats. Let's therefore welcome, for the opening remarks, the Director General of the NBC, Balarabe Ilelah. Please put your hands together for him.
Thank you. You are all very much welcome to this all-important occasion. I would like to welcome you to this important forum in the preparation for a responsible and professional coverage of the 2023 broadcast campaign and general elections. In this hall today, we have broadcasters from across the North Central region of our great country. North Central Political Zone alone houses about 150 active broadcast stations. Distinguished broadcasters, other respected stakeholders, this forum is the regulator's way of reminding broadcasters of the critical role they play in the democratic process. In few hours, political campaigns for presidential and national assembly will begin in earnest, and the Nigerian Broadcasting Code has specific guidelines on political broadcast. Today, we are here to underscore the huge responsibility bestowed on the broadcaster to guide the process. We also use this forum to speak to the concerns of the other critical stakeholders, to allow the broadcasters to do their job well without putting them under undue pressure, as this could threaten the success of the election we are also desire. The forum has already held in Kano, Lagos, Enugu, and now today we are in Abuja to have the forum, which we hope will give broadcasters opportunity to refresh their code of ethics and remind them of the need to be professional during the election and after. This is the final location of the forum is holding. The theme of this year's forum is towards a fair and responsible broadcast coverage of the 2023 general elections, a multi-stakeholder dialogue. This is so coined to give the broadcaster an opportunity to interface with the politicians and other stakeholders so that we all know what is safe for broadcast and what cannot go on air. As we commence campaign this month, the instrument that will guide the broadcast media are the NBC Act, Cap N11 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, the Nigerian Broadcasting Code, the Electoral Act 2022, and other extant laws of our dear country. The Commission enjoins broadcasters to give equal access and opportunities to all political players, registered political parties, and candidates. This is in addition to ensuring equity in airtime allocation and coverage of political parties' activities, particularly during prime times. It is also the time for you to make money from political adverts and campaigns, but ensure that this is done within the ambit of law. Broadcasters are also required to handle live political rallies with care and due professionalism. This is in addition to studio-based live broadcast, interviews, and others. Because of the sensitivities of such programs, broadcasters are advised to install delay mechanism whenever they are on it. Remember that broadcast stations are held responsible for any breach. The stations shall therefore assume and accept editorial responsibility. I also use this opportunity to remind broadcasters not to allow any form of hate speech, fake news, derogatory or divisive remarks, and any incendiary broadcast on their platforms. NBC is not going to take it lightly with any station. If you want to remain up to the end of the election, you must make sure that you operate within the law. And if you want to end your broadcast before the election, okay, you can go ahead and break the law. NBC will not fall in arms to see things are done in a wrong way. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, please note that the broadcaster is not allowed to deny any group access to airtime. Any form of denial of access is prohibited. However, if your political content is indecent and hateful, then a station is allowed to turn it down and give reasons why it cannot be taken. The Commission also uses this opportunity to tell Nigerians that they can complain to the NBC if content on any station annoys their sensibilities or sensitivity. Just call or email us at info@nbc.gov.ng. In your complaint, you should provide the following: the name of station, title of program, time and date of broadcast, and essence of the complaint. Please remember to add your name and telephone so that we can reach you for redress. What we are trying to say here is that NBC is not just out with the broadcasters, but we are also out to listen to the public. You are free to complain to NBC, call us at any time, tell us your grievances, and we are there for you. And be assured that we will take action immediately. Let me use this opportunity also to call on broadcasters to ensure that every partisan political broadcast is recorded up transmission and preserved for 150 days after broadcast. You are also required to stop the broadcast of any partisan political program 24 hours to the polling day. On election days, the broadcaster is to relay election results or winners only as announced by the authorities or the electoral officer recognized by INEC. As broadcasters, you are expected to offer your platform for the exchange of ideas, comments, and constructive criticisms for the development of democratic culture. Anchors are hereby advised to manage their political guests well and do not allow them to malign others, especially those that are not present on the program. This is in the spirit of fairness, because such people do not have the opportunity to defend themselves at the time. We have invited seasoned professionals to deliver papers here and to engage with you for our common good. So I crave for your indulgence to listen to the presentations. Let me highlight one of the objectives of broadcasting as initiated in the Nigerian Broadcasting Code. Broadcasting is for the promotion of national unity, participatory democracy, political awareness, and inclusion of spirit of tolerance of divergent views and opinions in people. I therefore urge broadcasters, anchors of political programs, to guide their platforms well and ensure that guests abide by these objectives. Let me sound a warning here that no platform should be allowed to be used to destroy this country. We are only broadcasters because there is Nigeria. When there is no Nigeria, they will not exist and we will not operate. And NBC is there to watch you 24 hours. Giving you a platform for any subversive comment is constitutionally unacceptable. Therefore, you should be properly guided by the ethics of the profession and all legal prohibitions guiding broadcasting nationally and internationally. In conclusion, I urge you to familiarize yourselves with provisions of the Electoral Act 2022, which empowers the electoral umpire to prosecute presenters, principal officers, media house owners, and the person that contravene the Electoral Act, and if found wanting, can be fined millions of naira or imprisoned or get both. In view of this, I implore you to tread with caution, as the Commission will ensure strict adherence to all extant laws of this country. The Commission will not hesitate to sanction any broadcast station, including shutting it down immediately when it becomes necessary. I want you to take this note very seriously. I want you to know that license is held in trust on behalf of the public. Therefore, any contravention will be appropriately sanctioned without fear or favor. Permit me at this juncture to respectfully invite INEC under the chairmanship of Professor Mahmoud Yakubu to collaborate with NBC to stem the tide of broadcast media-related breaches, particularly during election and post-election periods. I am confident that NBC can discharge this function satisfactorily if it acquires state-of-the-art monitoring facilities. This is including minimizing fake news, escalation on digital platforms, especially social media. If we collaborate with INEC, we'll also drastically reduce unofficial result declaration and campaigns on election days on both traditional and new media. I also extend hand of partnership to the security agencies in tackling dangerous broadcasts that can threaten the peace and essential foundation of Nigeria in free, during, and post-election periods. You may recall that political campaigns in the past elections toed the lines of ethnic, religious, and sectional biases at the expense of issue-based. This time around, things must change. Dear participants, I hope our meeting today will serve as a reminder to guide the electoral process to a free, fair, and credible elections in 2023. Let's achieve a true democracy by ensuring a successful 2023 election. I hope those of you that are here will heed to our advice and contribute their quota toward making this nation a great nation by having a very successful and free and fair election. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Please, another round of applause for the Director General of the National Broadcasting Commission, Balarabe Ilelah. Thank you for all the thoughts shared. I believe the warnings are heard loud and clear. And indeed, all we can do is keep working to do the best and share a message with us on what life has been, and indeed what he looks forward to, and our responsibility as the media in ensuring that we have free, fair, and credible elections. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, join me to welcome the Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, to give us his goodwill message. I don't think that applause is warm enough for him. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Let me start by recognizing the Director General of the National Broadcasting Commission, the NBC. He introduced me as his friend and brother. As they say in Nigeria, I stand by the existing protocols. The representative of the Inspector General of Police, AIG Balarabe, the last time we met was here in this hall, I think, when you were Commissioner of Police, FCT, ahead of the area council elections in the FCT. And the representative of the chairman of the EFCC, the representative of the DG, DSS, heads of other security agencies, the heads of other agencies like the MD-NAN, DG FRCN, the DG ARCOM, and the resource persons, and my friend and comrade, but they said he was a comrade before, I don't know whether he's still a comrade. He hasn't committed class suicide. The president of the NUJ, on behalf of the Independent National Electoral Commission, I wish to express our profound appreciation to the National Broadcasting Commission for the kind invitation to address this distinguished assembly of owners, managers, and other stakeholders in the broadcast industry in Nigeria. For us in INEC, this meeting couldn't have come at a better time. First, the 2023 Presidential and National Assembly election is holding in just 151 days away on Saturday, 25th February 2023, and is going to be followed by the state elections, meaning governorship and state houses of assembly, 2 weeks later on Saturday, the 11th of March 2023. So the election is only 151 days away. That is exactly 5 months and 1 day. And I always say, if you stretch your hand outside this hall, through the window or the glass door, you will actually touch the election day. It's very soft. It's coming on Saturday, the 25th of February, and polling units will open nationwide at exactly 8:30 in the morning. Secondly, activities for the 2023 general election, as contained in the timetable and schedule of activities released by the Commission on the 26th of February this year, have reached a critical stage of implementation. 8 out of 14 activities have so far been implemented successfully. Now, we shared the timetable and schedule of activities with all Nigerians. It's on our website. And there are 14 activities. So far, we have successfully implemented 8 out of the 14 activities. Thirdly, having conducted primaries and nominated their candidates for the 2023 general election, political parties will begin campaign in public in the next 2 days. That is on Wednesday, the 28th of September, 2022. The 2023 general election will be taking place against the background of the new Electoral Act, the Electoral Act 2022. And as you are aware, the new law is a repeal and reenactment of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended, which was used for the purpose of the 2011, 2015, and the 2019 general elections. However, the forthcoming general election is the first time that many aspects of the Electoral Act 2022 will be implemented in a nationwide election. Many aspects of the new law are not new, but they are yet to be properly understood and appreciated by many Nigerians, including political actors. The broadcast media are critical partners to INEC. While the Commission will continue to deepen its focused engagement with stakeholders, the media play a critical role in ensuring a more effective public enlightenment on the provision of the Electoral Act 2022 in particular, and other aspects of the electoral process in general. In the next 2 days, campaign by political parties in public, as provided by Section 94, subsection 1 of the Electoral Act, will officially commence nationwide. This means that over the next 5 months or so, political parties, candidates and their supporters will traverse the country canvassing for votes. They will engage in media appearances and hold town hall meetings, door-to-door campaigns, rallies, and processions. This period is often characterized by excitement, but it is also characterized by anxiety. Therefore, political parties, candidates and their supporters, as well as the media, have a responsibility to operate within the confines of the law and the provisions of the Commission's regulations and guidelines. Issue-based campaign is essential for safe electioneering. In turn, this will create the atmosphere for the successful deployment and conduct of all electoral activities. Campaigns should be devoid of hate speech, abusive, intemperate, or slanderous language, insinuations or innuendos likely to provoke violent reaction, physical attack on supporters of one party by another, or the destruction of campaign materials. More specifically, Section 95 of the Electoral Act defines the responsibilities of political parties and candidates, the media, and public institutions. It also provides sanctions for violations. For instance, in the course of our numerous interactions with political parties over the years, many of them have complained about the denial of access to public facilities for their meetings and rallies, exorbitant charges for signages and billboards, and equal access to the state media. Using the power of incumbency to deny opposition parties access to public facilities is outrightly illegal. Section 95, subsections 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are unambiguous and worth quoting verbatim as follows. Section 95, subsection 2 says, state apparatus, including the media, shall not be employed to the advantage or disadvantage of any political party or candidate at any election. I think this is worth repeating. State apparatus, including the media, shall not be employed to the advantage or disadvantage of any political party or candidate at any election. Section 95, subsection 3 says, and I quote, media time shall be allocated equally among the political parties and candidates at similar hours of the day. 95, subsection 4 says, at any public electronic media, equal time shall be allotted to all political parties or candidates during prime times at similar hours each day, subject to the payment of appropriate fees. 95, sub 5 says at any public print media, equal coverage and visibility shall be allotted to all political parties. Failure to comply with the provisions of the law attracts sanctions both against the media organization and its principal officers, as clearly provided in Section 95, subsection 6, as follows. 95.6 says that a person who contravenes subsection 3 and 4 commits an offense and is liable on conviction in the case of a public media to a fine of 2 million naira in the first instance and 5 million naira for subsequent conviction, and b, principal officers and other officers of the media house to a fine of 1 million naira or imprisonment for a term of 6 months. As campaigns start, the media has a huge responsibility. We have all been talking about issue-based campaigns. I believe that the media has a critical role to play in this respect. Equitable access for all political parties and candidates is essential to the promotion of issue-based campaigns. By doing so, the media will also steer the discussion and engage the candidates away from the mundane to the critical issues that matter to citizens. Consequently, the public will be in a better position to make informed decisions on election day. Beyond the commencement of campaigns by political parties, I would like to seize this opportunity to appeal to the media to continue to fact-check stories before going to press. Politics is an intensely partisan activity. The media and INEC stand for neutrality. Our path with the politicians will never cross. Their business is intensely partisan. Our business requires absolute neutrality. So we'll be traveling at different lanes, unless where propriety demands that we meet. I urge you to continue to abide by the ethics and profession of the profession, anchored on the law, the regulations and guidelines published by INEC and the Nigerian Broadcasting Commission Code. I wish to assure you that we will continue to engage with the NBC and broadcast stations. We will, as always, continue to make your work of informing and educating citizens easier. I also wish to reiterate our commitment to the nation that the Commission will do everything within its power to ensure that the 2023 general election is free, fair, credible, transparent, inclusive, and verifiable. So on this note, let me once again appreciate the NBC for the invitation to speak briefly at this important forum. Two big events are going to be organized tomorrow and Thursday. The Commission is going to hold a press conference on the eve of the campaigns. And also, the National Peace Committee, chaired by our former respected head of state, General Abubakar, will hold the signing of the peace accord ahead of the commencement or immediately following the commencement of campaigns, because at present they only deploy for peace during elections, but there is also the necessity to deploy for peace during campaigns before actual elections begin. I say so in good company, believing that I will not be charged for this free advertisement for INEC and the NPC. I thank you very much and God bless.
I think he deserves more in the name of an applause. Thank you very much. And a very good day to all of us. I have to start with an apology. The executive chairman of the EFCC, Mr. Rashid Bawa, sends his very sincere apologies for not being able to make it to this event. He is on assignment outside of the country, so he's asked me to come in and deliver this very brief goodwill message. And if you permit me to align myself with the Chairman INEC, to borrow the already set protocol, very, very early set by the anchors of this program and the other speakers, the DG, NBC, and the INEC chairman. So I will just go straight and deliver the address of Mr. Al-Rashid Bawa. It gives me a great pleasure to be here and be asked to give a goodwill message to this distinguished audience on the subject of how we can, through the employment of the instruments and institutions of professionalism, ensure election integrity. My intervention on this subject will be brief and straight to the point. I wish to ask this august audience this one question. Have you read the Money Laundering Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022? If your answer is no, I urgently advise that you go and study it, and I particularly commend Section 2, Section 4, Subsection 8 and 9, and Section 30 of that Act to you. Because they impact not only the upcoming elections, but also the work that you are doing in the lead up to the elections and the work you will do after the elections. Section 2 of the Act provides for the money transaction threshold for individuals and corporate entities, while Section 4, Sub 8, Sub D, and Section 9 of the Act compel greater scrutiny of the sources of funds in transactions with politically exposed persons. Section 30, Sub A, B, and C tell us who politically exposed person is. And this category of persons include senior politicians. It includes important political party officials. Also on the list are directors, deputy directors, their family members, and their close associates. If you want to add there, anybody that's related to these people, including side chicks. Anyone or a combination of these people could potentially launder illicit funds and also fund terrorism through the platforms and services that you provide. The message from the EFCC, therefore, is to be wary. Please closely scrutinize all business relationships now and after the elections so as not to run afoul of the provisions of the Money Laundering Act and hence come under the scrutiny of the invigorated EFCC's Special Control Unit against money laundering. Having given that advice, let me just remark that there is, ladies and gentlemen, a very heavy burden of expectation that the National Broadcasting Commission shares with all broadcast organizations. Nigerians expect more than ever before, especially when they run up to the elections, absolute fidelity to the broadcasting code, which establishes the irreducible minimum professional compliance threshold for broadcasters. Codes as guardrails for professional and ethical conduct are unimpeachable. The codes of the broadcast industry, as far as we know, do not condone the illegal manipulation of the people's will through corruption of the system. Therefore, the challenge for us all in this election cycle is how each of us will do our bit to keep out, identify, and sanction under the law those who are bent on using money and other means of corruption and compromise to illegally manipulate the electoral process and predetermine the election outcomes. The EFCC is actively engaging the issue of pre-election campaign funding through financial and designated non-financial institutions as captured under the Money Laundering Prohibition and Prevention Act 2022, and also using the instrument of other extant laws to take action on election day itself. I'm glad to report that we made substantial movement forward in dealing with this malaise in the other localized elections that have happened on my watch. And I will do even more in regard to the upcoming 2023 general election. Along this line, let me introduce to you the EFCC's Eagle Eye for further introduction to your over 200 million viewers and listeners, majority of who are also voters targeted by the unscrupulous political players. The Eagle Eye app, which is downloadable on the App Store and Google Play Store, is a cutting-edge investigative tool developed entirely by the EFCC to aid the generation of, amongst others, actionable anti-money laundering intelligence. It has been instrumental to some highly consequential investigations and recoveries made by the Commission since its launch in July 2021. Please permit me to end this very brief message, ladies and gentlemen, with a very instructive attribution credited to Heneke, the witty bird in Igbo mythology, which was made even more popular by the Mosby Chima Chibe. That witty bird said, "Since men have learned to shoot without missing, I have learned to fly without perching." The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has learned to use smart tools to get those who have learned to use smart means to make money and to corrupt the system. I thank you very much, Director.
The representative of the IGP, Usman Alkali Baba. He is a former Commissioner of Police in the FCT, an action man who has gotten up already before I've even called his name. He is AIG Bala Chirova, is the AIG in charge of federal operations of the Nigerian Police Force. Please a round of applause for him. Thank you.
Our host, the DG Fund, members of the high table, critical stakeholders, permit me to stand on existing protocol. Accept the apologies of the Inspector General of Police, who is unavoidably absent from this function. He would have loved to be here himself. But I stand here to represent him. I'll go straight ahead and read his goodwill message. The National Broadcasting Commission has taken a worthy step, a step worthy of commendation by initiating this program, aimed at reminding broadcasters of their responsibility as the nation approaches the 2023 general election. The choice of the topic towards a fair and responsible broadcast coverage of 2023 general election, a multi-stakeholder dialogue as the theme of this event is timely and apt. As our dear nation inches towards the 2023 general elections, it is pertinent for us to heed the clarion call and remind ourselves that we are all duty-bound to ensure that the success of these forthcoming elections. In the light of the foregoing, the silent message is that national interest must supersede every other interest. It is therefore incumbent on members of this forum to embrace a responsible reportage. that will place great premium on the security and unity of the country. Actors in the broadcast sector must understand and appreciate the sensitive state of the broadcast media, especially in molding and shaping and influencing public opinion. While highlighting the critical role of the broadcast media to national security, it is germane to bring to fore the ongoing effort of the Nigerian police force in ensuring success of the forthcoming 2023 general elections. Mindful of the various stages in the electoral process, that is the pre-election and post-election phases, the police is working assiduously to ensure the success of the entire process. These include well-structured training of police officers and men on election duty, security management, on interagency collaboration with other security agencies. I want to assure that we'll be monitoring roles of the broadcast industry in ensuring that we have a peaceful election in 2023. Also want to assure that adequate security provisions have been made to ensure that an enabling environment is in place to enhance a peaceful election. In conclusion, I want to commend the National Broadcasting Commission for this proactive stride, which is in conformity with its mandate as a regulatory body for the broadcast sector. I wish the forum a fruitful deliberation. Thank you very much.
Presiding over the 70th anniversary of the NUJ, Comrade Chris Isiguzu. Please put your hands together for him as he comes up to share with us some experience of the men on the field and as well as expectations ahead of the elections.
Our hosts, the Director General, National Broadcasting Commission, the Chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission, other members of the high table, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. When I received the invitation to be part of this multi-stakeholder forum, I felt so pleased because this forum is very, very important as we inch very close to the 2023 elections. Quite recently, the NUJ and the NBC, we've not appeared to be good friends. But when we got this invitation, we said, okay, it's yet another opportunity for us to come together because we owe it a duty to this country to work together. And I'm happy that BORN is represented here. APCON is also represented here. That had been our message, that we need to periodically check notes, talk to ourselves, and see areas of partnership. And that's why this engagement becomes highly imperative. Well, every other speaker today has talked about the media, the role of the media, what we need to do. And what that means is that the media remains a strategic stakeholder a critical stakeholder in the delivery of credible, inclusive, using the chairman's word, election. If we want to continue to have democracy that works, the media must be up and doing. And like other speakers have said, this time is a very important time in the election calendar. Any moment from now, campaigns will start. And so many politicians will be looking our ways. Therefore, as we get ready to discharge this responsibility reposed in us, we must ensure we don't do that along tribal lines, ethnic lines, religious lines. These lines have consistently divided us as a people. As media professionals, as broadcasters, I want to appeal to us. Let us not pander to the whims and caprices of these political actors. They have their own partisan interests. And like the DG said, and of course the chairman, all of us must ensure that we remain neutral before, during, and even after the elections. It is said that soldier comes, soldier goes, the barrack remains. We are the barrack, and we must remain neutral. Let's not be tempted by pecuniary or mercantile considerations as we discharge our duties. Very, very important. I want to appeal to us. Because quite recently, the regulator has always bared its fangs. And each time it happens, all of you seated here will run to us to go and make the appeals. This is the moment for us to ensure that there are rules, there are laws that guide broadcasting. So whatever we do during these campaign periods, let's get very used to the rule books. When the representative of the EFCC chairman was reading his, or presenting his goodwill message, he made reference to a particular act. And I told the person sitting very close to me that I've not even read that particular document. So it's important that as we prepare for these elections, all the necessary books, all the necessary acts, all the necessary laws that we need to get accustomed to, let us do that. Because ignorance of the law is never an excuse. So I want to indeed applaud the NBC for putting this forum together. And I'm happy that the police, the DSS, and other security agencies are represented here. If you look at section 22 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, it merely sends us on an errand. We must hold people accountable. The protection of the media, the safety of the media, nobody is talking about it. So we also want to appeal to the regulator. We also want to appeal to the security agencies. Let them not see us as competitors. We are partners in progress. Where you need to be there for us to give us the necessary security covering, please don't hesitate to do that. We are all equal partners in ensuring that we deliver Project Nigeria to Nigerians. Once more, I want to thank NBC for this forum you've put together. I heard that it took place in other 3 centers. That's a good one. It's not going to be a one-off thing. Even as we continue through the political process, we have to continue to engage ourselves. Thank you very much.
The
NBC DG, let me especially recognize the chairman of INEC, and I must not forget to equally recognize the vice chairman of BON and the DG of FRCN. I will stand for an assistant protocol. I really want to thank NBC for organizing this forum. We are very, very appreciative. In electioneering, I think 5 or 6 components are very, very critical. The electorate, the political parties, INEC, security, and the media. But the one that is in the eye of the storm, even more than INEC, is the media. Or let me say that both INEC and the media are in the eye of the storm. And the aspect of the media that is critically focused on is the broadcast media. And the broadcast media suffers 2 things: political pressure and economic pressure. But one thing is that those in the broadcast sector, because it's a special profession, they always push the economic pressure aside when it comes to the unity of the country, and they face the political pressure. This forum is so critical because before the new Electoral Act, the penalty for violation of the rules are just payment of fines, 500,000, 1 million. But the new act has introduced a new dimension that all of us should look into critically. When the chairman of INEC was reading sections 95 and 96, I was following him. And in it, you see the new dimension of imprisonment of principal officers. And who are the principal officers in broadcast stations? Maybe the general manager, the management staff, most especially those heading news and those heading programs. It's a new dimension that all of us must look at very well. I know in the past that many broadcasters have suffered a lot of injustice. Immediately after the election, the new governor, because the broadcaster has done the right thing, but he just comes in as governor, he will just ask the general manager to go. And we thank God that because it's a special profession, people believe in protecting their integrity than sacrificing the Nigeria as a country. I want to believe that broadcasters will still do the same. Certainly there will be Nigeria after 2023 election, courtesy of the broadcast sector. Because in a situation like this, what we do is to come together and say we have to do it according to the laid down procedure. So I want to believe, and I can assure you that as they are sitting down there, they are taking note of everything. But I equally want to plead with them. We don't want any one of you to go to jail. If it's just a matter of payment, well, I would have said there is no problem. But we have to be wary of the politicians, most especially our principals. Our principals in this regard are the chief executive officer of the states, where they will say, go and do it. Whatever that is going to come, we will face it. But I don't think they will follow us to jail when it comes to the issue of jail, if it's above, payment of fines. And that is the area where I want to appeal to you that go through that section 95 and 96 very, very well. So that we can defend the profession. Yes, it is certain that with it, many will lose their job. There's no doubt about that. Because I know of governors who will say, if you cannot do it, you better resign. And that is the area where I also think that the regulators should come in. The profession should equally be protected. The regulator should be able to stand up for people that are doing the right thing. Yes, we know that whoever has the power to hire equally has the power to fire. But in this case, if somebody has done it according to the dictates of the law, I think the regulator too should equally say, yes, we have to stand by this person that has done it according to the dictate of the law. So we really want to thank you, the DG of NBC, and I really want to thank the chairman of INEC. I think within the next 1 month, another one is going to hold, I think between APCOM and BON, where we are equally going to call the chairman of INEC to equally drop this for everybody together at a time. Thank you so much, and I believe that the people here, they are going back and they are going to say it the way it should be, and I want to assure you that after 2023 elections, there will be Nigeria. Thank you.